You're being manipulated and you don't even realize it. Right now, I can guarantee you that some people have already clicked off of this video, even though it hasn't even been 30 seconds of me recording. I can guarantee you that right now. And that's going to bring me into my first point, which is that short form content is ruining people's attention spans. You guys ever notice, especially on these platforms like TikTok and Instagram, these platforms are flooded with short form content, which is literally designed to rewire your brain into having instant dopamine hits and instant gratification. People can't even sit through videos that last for 2 minutes or more nowadays because everyone's just mindlessly scrolling on social media, looking through all these. I mean, even on YouTube, even YouTube shorts, right? YouTube shorts, that's a thing. Um, but it's like the worst when it comes to TikTok and Instagram because those platforms revolve around short form content. So yeah, a lot of people can't even sit through videos that last for 2 minutes or more nowadays. At max, they're watching videos that last like 30 seconds to a minute. And then you also have the rise of brain rot content becoming extremely popular. You have things like harassment pranks that are being framed as being funny. Like, for example, I've seen videos on Instagram and TikTok where these dudes would go out and they would just start cussing at strangers to incite a reaction from the strangers. And they would basically do that in the hopes that they could get a good reaction so that they could post it on their social media account so that they can hopefully go viral. You guys know what I mean, right? And then you also have what's called an Apple Pay prank. The Apple Pay prank has become extremely popular. And I'm not going to lie, at first it seems funny, right? At first it seems funny when you first look at it. But then when you really think about it, like the people that are being pranked, typically they target the older generation, I've noticed, because they tend to fall for things like that and they tend to be the most gullible when it comes to things like that. um, like imagine easily being convinced that somebody stole money from your bank account just by doing the Apple Pay sound effect right beside your phone, right? Because that's how it would work is they would go out, they would take their phone, and then they would do the Apple Pay sound effect close to the other person's phone, and they would make it seem like, oh, I took $50, I took $100, and then they start flipping out. You have to be a very gullible person to fall for something like that. But again, the people that are falling for it, the people that are truly convinced that they had their money taken from them, they're being stressed out. They start screaming and yelling. They try to fight with the guy because they're truly convinced that money was just taken from them just from a guy putting their phone close to their phone. And like I said, you have to be very gullible to fall for stuff like that. But then you also have things like thirst traps becoming extremely popular on these platforms. So people aren't only being manipulated into having their attention spans fried, they're also being manipulated into obsessively liking thirst trap content and even following the thirst trap pages. And I mean, it's just unbelievable. Like, everywhere you look on these platforms, like, you could go on a blocking spree. You could block all these thirst trap pages all you want, and they're still just going to keep showing you all these thirst trap pages on your explore feed. It's ridiculous. And the corn industry is actually destroying society. And it's actually way worse for society than the harassment pranks and the short form content. Way worse for society. It's not even close. And then you also have the rise of AI content flooding the internet. So now you don't even know what's real or fake anymore. And you can't even trust what you see with your own two eyes because there's so much fake AI slop content flooding the internet as we speak. And I mean, it's unbelievable. Like, some of it looks so real. Some of these AI videos look so real to the point that it's hard to even believe that it's AI. Like, that's how bad it's gotten. Some of these videos look so real that it's easy to deceive people into thinking that these videos have nothing to do with AI because they look so real. Like, you can't even trust what you see anymore. You can't even trust what you see anymore on the internet. Like, you have to question every video now. You have to question, like, is this video AI generated? And you have to be on the lookout for any clues that suggest that the video is AI generated. It's a crazy world we live in. And the manipulation is just going to keep getting worse and worse and worse. And don't even get me started with these annoying fake gurus that are just always flexing their materialistic possessions and their wealth. A lot of these people are scammers trying to sell you a course and giving the false idea or the false impression that they're successful and that they're doing amazing in life. Some of these guys are renting out cars, making it seem like they own the vehicles. Some of these guys are renting out the properties and misleading people into thinking that they own the properties, things like that, you know? And some of these people, they even go as far as taking videos of other people's, materialistic possessions and making it seem like that it's theirs. Like, this stuff goes really deep. The manipulation goes really deep when it comes to this stuff. Like, this is how desperate these people are to give a false image. That in itself gives people a mindset where they start comparing themselves to the fake gurus, right? They start thinking like, oh, I don't have that expensive car. I don't have that expensive house. I don't have that expensive watch, that expensive jewelry, you know? So my life sucks because I'm not, I don't have all these materialistic possessions that this guy has or that he's making it seem like he has, right? It's just so much manipulation all over society. And then you also have men and women becoming more and more divided. You have women calling men trash and saying that they don't need men. And then you have men that are calling women trash and saying that they don't need women. And a population that's divided and fighting with each other all the time is a population that's much easier to control. You're already being manipulated into having your attention span fried. You're already being manipulated into obsessively liking thirst trap content. You have men and women being manipulated into being divided from each other and thinking that they don't need each other, when in reality they do need each other. And when you live in a society like that where there's so much manipulation to the point that men and women are out here literally thinking that they don't need each other, or that the opposite sex is terrible, or that the opposite sex is just not needed, that's a society that starts going downhill. And we're seeing that right now. A society that's going downhill rapidly. It's not just the economy that's getting worse. We have a serious problem when it comes to human connection. And human connection, ever since 2020, has just started going downhill. Ever since 2020, every single thing in society has just started going downhill. And dating is one of those things. Social media brain rot is one of those things. These nonsense, men are trash narratives, and these nonsense women are trash narratives are flooding the internet. And that in itself is a form of brain rot content.